My beloved child, I have seen the pattern you keep hiding. I see you still smiling, still serving, still waking up each day and doing what must be done, still answering people kindly, still carrying responsibilities, still trying to look steady when something inside you keeps circling back to the same place. I see the fear you promised yourself you would not obey again. I see the anger that rises before you can catch it. I see the delay that keeps pushing obedience into tomorrow. I see the secret habit you keep covering with silence. I see the bitterness you try to call wisdom. I see the heaviness that comes over you when the room gets quiet and no one is asking you to perform strength. My child, the old cycle has not continued because I am absent. It has continued because there is a hidden opening that has remained unclosed. I do not say this to accuse you. I do not speak this to make you ashamed. I speak because I love you too much to let you keep calling bondage your personality, too much to let you keep calling delay your timing, too much to let you keep calling a wound your identity. There are patterns that do not enter with thunder. They do not announce themselves with a dramatic fall. They begin with one small crack left open, one thought entertained a little too long, one wound rehearsed again at night, one appetite fed in secret, one conversation you know drains your spirit, one excuse you have repeated until it sounds reasonable. The enemy never needs a wide open door when a small crack is enough. A little fear, a little resentment, a little compromise, a little numbness, a little returning to what I already called you out of. Night after night the crack remains, and what entered quietly begins to build a rhythm. Then you wake up and wonder why tomorrow feels like yesterday. You wonder why the same heaviness waits for you at the edge of the morning. You wonder why the same reaction comes from you before you even choose it. But I tell you, beloved, what is left unchallenged before tomorrow will try to repeat itself tomorrow. That is why this night is not ordinary. This is not just another evening passing over your life. This is a threshold. This is a place where the old pattern is asking for permission to follow you into the next day, and I am calling you to stop before it crosses over with you. Do not treat this as a small matter, because it has become familiar. Familiar chains are still chains. Familiar fear is still fear. Familiar anger is still fire in the wrong hands. Familiar delay is still obedience postponed. Familiar heaviness is still weight I never asked you to carry. I do not say this to frighten you. I say it to wake you before the pattern hardens again. I say it before your heart becomes comfortable with what I came to break. I say it before you explain away the warning, before you sleep with the door still open, before you rise tomorrow and call the same struggle unavoidable. My child, you are not helpless. You are not abandoned. You are not too far gone, but you must stop protecting the opening that keeps giving the cycle access. Before this message goes deeper, let your heart answer me honestly. If you know this word is finding the hidden place, like this video, as an act of agreement that this cycle will not own your tomorrow. Subscribe if you want to keep receiving messages that call you back to me, back to prayer, back to truth, back to the place where your soul can breathe again. And write in the comments, tonight I close the old cycle. Do not write it as empty words. Write it as a line in the sand. Write it as surrender. Write it as the beginning of obedience. My child, I have seen the pattern, but I have also seen the door. And tonight, before tomorrow arrives, I am calling you to stop hiding it from me. My child, the cycle is not only around you, it has been feeding inside you. It has not only been showing up in circumstances, in delays, in people, in closed doors, in sudden discouragement, in the same arguments, in the same disappointments, in the same emotional storms. It has been finding something within you that agrees with it, a place that expects it, a place that says, this always happens, a place that prepares for defeat before the battle even begins, a place that has learned to bow quietly to what I never commanded you to carry. I see the visible struggle, beloved, but I am speaking now to the invisible root. You keep looking at the reaction, but I am looking at the agreement beneath the reaction. You keep looking at the procrastination, but I am looking at the fear beneath the delay. You keep looking at the secret sin, but I am looking at the hunger, the loneliness, the ache, the escape, the wound beneath the appetite. You keep looking at the toxic conversation, but I am looking at the part of your heart that still believes you must keep drinking from a place that leaves you empty. You keep looking at comparison, but I am looking at the quiet lie that says I have forgotten you while I bless someone else. Do you see it, my child? The cycle becomes strong when it stops feeling like an intruder and starts sounding like your own voice. It whispers until you repeat it. It returns until you expect it. It wounds until you name yourself by the wound. Then one day, without realizing it, you stop saying, "This is something I am battling," and you begin saying, "This is just who I am. I always end up here. I always ruin things. I always delay. I always react. I always go back. Nothing ever changes for me." And when bondage can make you call it identity, it no longer has to fight loudly. It only has to remind you of yesterday. But I am telling you the truth tonight. That cycle is not your name. That fear is not your nature. That anger is not your inheritance. That secret place is not your home. That delay is not your destiny. That heaviness is not the voice of your future. It is a pattern, and what is a pattern can be broken. It is an agreement, and what is an agreement can be renounced. It is a door, and what is a door can be closed. I did not form you to live as a prisoner of repetition. I did not breathe life into you so that yesterday could keep naming tomorrow. I do not say this because you are weak. I say it because you have been fighting tired. I do not say this because you do not love me. I say it because your soul has been running dry while your hands have kept moving. You have kept showing up, but you have not always been drinking from me. You have kept answering, kept doing, kept helping, kept surviving. But in the hidden place, your spirit has been trying to breathe through dust. And when the soul is dry, even a small temptation feels loud. When the heart is tired, even a small offense feels heavy. When prayer grows quiet, old voices grow bold. When the inner altar is neglected, the old fire looks familiar again. I have seen the mornings when you wake with heaviness before anything has happened. I have seen you open your eyes and feel as if the day already has weight on it. I have seen the uneasiness that visits you at night, the restlessness you cannot explain, the sense that something is pressing on your chest, though no one else can see it. I have heard the words you regretted as soon as they left your mouth. I have watched you replay them, punish yourself for them, promise you will do better, then wonder why the same pressure rises again. I have seen you return to what drains you, not because it gives life, but because it numbs the ache for a moment. I have seen you pray less when you need prayer most, pull away when you most need my presence, grow silent when your soul is crying to be held. My beloved child, this is how the unseen battle works. It does not always begin with rebellion. Sometimes it begins with weariness. Sometimes it begins with disappointment repeated so often that hope becomes cautious. Sometimes it begins with one unanswered question that becomes a hidden accusation. Sometimes it begins with pain you never brought fully into the light, and little by little, the enemy uses repetition to build a false testimony inside you. He points to old falls. He points to old delays. He points to old tears. He points to old cycles. Then he says, "See, this is who you are." But he is a liar. He can point to your past, but he cannot write your name. He can remind you of what happened, but he cannot cancel what I have spoken. Do not confuse recognition with condemnation. I am not exposing this to crush you. I am exposing it so you can finally stop agreeing with what has been draining you. I am not showing you the root so you will feel ashamed of the fruit. I am showing you the root because I am ready to pull out what has been feeding the same harvest. You have been asking me to change the visible thing, and I am reaching for the hidden place that keeps producing it. You have been asking me to stop the cycle around you, and I am asking you to stop feeding the cycle within you. Tonight, before tomorrow arrives, I am not asking you to fix your whole life in one moment. I am not placing the full weight of transformation on your shoulders. I am placing one act of obedience in your hands. One honest surrender, one door closed, one agreement broken, one hidden thing brought before me without excuse. Because the moment you stop calling the cycle your identity, you begin to see it as something I have authority to break, and my child. I am not only exposing what has been repeating, I am preparing you to obey in the one place where the old pattern has been waiting for permission to continue. My child, the small door you keep leaving open is not always the place other people would notice. It is not always dramatic. It is not always something that looks dangerous at first glance. Sometimes it is a small resentment you allow to stay warm in your chest because you believe you have a right to keep it. Sometimes it is one unchecked thought that you do not bring before me because it feels harmless while it is still quiet. Sometimes it is one private compromise that no one sees. One conversation you know pulls you backward. One screen you keep returning to when your heart feels empty. One delay you keep calling wisdom when you already know I asked you to obey. One refusal to forgive that you keep dressing in the language of protection. Beloved, the enemy does not need a wide door when you keep leaving a small latch undone. He does not need you to abandon me loudly if he can teach you to ignore me quietly. He does not need you to run far away if he can persuade you to remain almost surrendered, almost obedient, almost honest, almost free. A small crack is enough when it is protected. A small excuse is enough when it is repeated. A small bitterness is enough when it is fed. A small appetite is enough when it is visited in secret. A small delay is enough when it becomes the place where tomorrow keeps losing its strength before it even begins. Do not call it small because it has not destroyed you yet. Do not call it harmless because you can still function with it. Do not call it private because no human eye has seen it. I see what enters through what you excuse. I see what drains through what you minimize. I see how your peace leaks out through the place you keep refusing to close. I see the way you recover for a moment, then return to the same door. I see the way you tell yourself, this is the last time. But you do not remove the access. You do not shut the window. You do not end the conversation. You do not block the path. You do not bring the wound fully into my hands. And so the old cycle waits, not because it owns you, but because it still finds a handle you have not surrendered. My child, this is how cycles are fed. Pain rises, loneliness speaks, disappointment presses against the heart, a memory returns, a fear whispers, a craving wakes up. Then instead of running to me, you reach for the familiar escape. You reach for the thing that numbs, but does not heal. You reach for the voice that understands your wound, but strengthens your bondage. You reach for the screen, the message, the secret habit, the argument, the silence, the control, the old thought, the old place. For a moment there is relief. For a moment the pressure seems softer. For a moment you feel distracted from the ache. But after that moment passes, you wake with shame, you wake with distance. You wake with heaviness. You wake feeling as if a veil has settled between your heart and mine. I do not say this to condemn you. I say it because temporary relief has been charging you with long sorrow. I say it because what promises escape has been quietly collecting your peace. I say it because the enemy has learned the places where you are most tired, and he comes there with something that looks like comfort but leaves you more alone than before. He offers quick water that cannot satisfy. He offers a warm shadow that cannot shelter. He offers agreement with your pain but never brings your pain into healing. And when you rise again, he does not simply accuse you for falling. He uses the fall to tell you not to come near me. He whispers that you are too dirty to pray, too inconsistent to return, too late to change, too familiar with the cycle to be free. But listen to me, my precious one. The lie is not only in the temptation, the lie is also in the shame that follows it. The enemy opens the door with comfort and then locks it with accusation. He draws you with relief and then binds you with distance. He tells you to hide what I am ready to heal. He tells you to excuse what I am ready to remove. He tells you to wait until you feel stronger, cleaner, more prepared, more worthy. But I am not asking for a grand performance tonight. I am not asking you to prove your strength with a loud display. I am asking for one honest closure, one decision made in truth, one door shut because you already know it has been draining you. You already know the door, my child. Even as I speak, you know. Your spirit knows the place. Your conscience has touched it many times. You have felt the warning before entering it. You have felt the heaviness after leaving it. You have felt my gentle pull when your hand reached for it again. I am not hiding this from you. I am not making freedom complicated. I am bringing your attention to the one place you keep explaining away, the one name you keep answering, the one thought you keep hosting, the one bitterness you keep feeding, the one habit you keep saying you will deal with later, the one obedience you keep postponing until another day. And I tell you with love and urgency, what you tolerate tonight will try to speak first tomorrow morning. If you sleep with the latch undone, do not be surprised when the same voice waits at the edge of your waking. If you carry the same resentment into rest, it will try to greet you before gratitude can rise. If you leave the same compromise breathing in the dark, it will ask for your attention before prayer forms on your lips. If you postpone obedience again, delay will stand beside your bed and call itself reasonable. The old cycle wants first words. It wants first agreement. It wants first access to your mind, your emotions, your choices, your reactions, your mourning. That is why I am calling you now, before tomorrow arrives. Close the door while the night is still in your hands. Close it before the old pattern builds another argument. Close it before shame turns into hiding again. Close it before the familiar escape pretends to be your only comfort. Close it by telling me the truth. Close it by deleting what keeps pulling you back. Close it by ending what keeps stirring the wound. Close it by forgiving the one you have been using as the reason to stay chained. Close it by saying no before the craving becomes loud. Close it by doing the simple, obedient thing you have delayed. My child, do not make peace with the crack. Do not decorate the door I am asking you to shut. Do not protect the latch because part of you still wants access to what harms you. Bring me the honest part. Bring me even the divided part. Bring me the part that wants freedom and the part that is afraid of losing the familiar. I am not afraid of your honesty. I am not offended by your weakness. I am here to meet you in the place where the cycle has been entering, and I am saying, tonight, this opening closes. Tonight, the excuse ends. Tonight, the old pattern loses the permission you have unknowingly given it, because the cycle is broken when you stop defending the small door that keeps giving it access. Do you remember David before Goliath, my child? Do you remember that before the valley heard his name, before the armies watched him run toward the giant, before the stone flew from the sling, before the victory became public, there was a field where no one applauded him. There were sheep, ordinary days, quiet responsibilities, long hours beneath the open sky, and hidden battles that looked small to everyone else but mattered deeply to me. Before David stood before a giant. He stood before a lion. Before he faced Goliath, he faced a bear. Before the public breakthrough, there was private obedience. Before the visible victory, there was a hidden place where his courage was formed. My child, do you see what I am showing you? David did not first become strong when everyone was watching. He became strong when no one was clapping. He learned to trust me when there was no crown nearby, no celebration, no trumpet, no crowd, no one saying his name with honor. He was faithful in a field that looked forgotten. He protected what I placed in his hands when it seemed small. He fought battles that others would never write songs about. Yet those hidden victories became the evidence he carried into the valley. When Saul questioned him, David remembered the lion and the bear. He remembered that I had delivered him before. He remembered that the unseen history between his soul and mine was stronger than the visible threat standing in front of him. And so it is with you, beloved. You may be waiting for the big door to open, but I am asking you to close the small door first. You may be asking me for the new season, the new assignment, the new relationship, the new opportunity, the new beginning, the visible breakthrough, the place where others finally see what I have placed inside you. But before the public giant falls, I bring you to the private field. Before I entrust you with more, I ask you to obey me in the place where no one knows whether you said yes or no. Before the next door opens, I ask you to shut the door that has been feeding the old cycle, not because I am withholding goodness from you, but because I am preparing you to carry it without being ruled by what used to pull you backward. The hidden battle matters, my child. The moment when no one sees you delete the access matters. The moment when no one hears you choose prayer instead of the old escape matters. The moment when no one knows you refuse the conversation that awakens bitterness matters. The moment when no one applauds you for forgiving, for surrendering, for closing the screen, for telling the truth, for not answering the old craving, for not rehearsing the old wound, for not giving your agreement to fear. That moment matters before me. The world may call it small, your flesh may call it unnecessary. The enemy may whisper that it will not change anything. But I tell you, private obedience becomes public strength. Do not despise the field because it is quiet. Do not despise the small act because it is hidden. Do not despise tonight because it does not look dramatic. A cycle is often broken before anyone else notices it. Freedom often begins in a room where only I hear the prayer. A new pattern often starts with one decision that looks too simple to matter. But David's sling did not become powerful in the valley only because he picked it up that day. His trust had been trained in secret. His hands had remembered earlier deliverance. His courage had already faced teeth and claws before it faced armor and height. And my child, the old cycle pressing against you tonight knows this. It knows you are closer to change than you feel. It knows this is not just another night. It knows that if you close the door now, tomorrow will not have the same access. It knows that if you obey me in the hidden place, the voice of yesterday will lose authority in the place you are about to enter. That is why the pressure feels so loud. That is why the temptation seems familiar and urgent. That is why the fear is trying to rise before faith can speak. That is why shame is trying to tell you to delay. The old pattern is not pressing because you are far from freedom. It is pressing because the threshold is near. Do you remember also Elisha's servant, when he rose early and saw the city surrounded? His panic came from what his eyes could see. He saw horses and chariots against them. He saw danger. He saw numbers. He saw no way out. And fear spoke quickly, because fear always uses the visible thing as evidence that I have forgotten you. But Elisha prayed, and when the servant's eyes were opened, he saw that the mountain was full of horses and chariots of fire. The threat had been visible, but my protection had been present before he could perceive it. Peace came when his eyes were opened to what had been there all along. So I say to you tonight, do not let the visible pressure convince you that you are alone. Do not let the old cycle surrounding your thoughts make you believe it has more power than my presence. You see the habit. I see the deliverance already reaching for you. You see the fear. I see the grace standing beside you. You see the door that must close, and you tremble because you wonder how you will live without the familiar escape. I see the chariots of fire around the obedience I am asking from you. I see protection where you see loss. I see freedom where you see discomfort. I see tomorrow being rewritten by the yes you give me tonight. My beloved child, before I bring you into a new season, I often ask you to win a hidden battle that proves the old cycle no longer rules you. Not to prove your worth to me. You are already mine. Not to earn my love has already been poured over you, but to reveal that the thing that used to command you no longer has the final voice. To reveal that fear can knock but you do not have to open. To reveal that appetite can call but you do not have to answer. To reveal that shame can accuse but you can still come near. To reveal that the door can be closed, the latch can be fastened, the agreement can be broken, and your heart can stand with me before tomorrow arrives. This is your field, my child. This is your lion. This is your bear. This is the hidden place where obedience becomes strength. And if you will meet me here, if you will stop minimizing this moment, if you will close what I have shown you, then when the greater door opens, you will not walk into it carrying the same chain. You will walk in remembering that I delivered you in secret before I raised you in public. You will walk in knowing that the God who met you in the night is the God who goes before you into the morning. My child, the one step I am asking you to take tonight is not complicated, but it must be honest. Before you sleep, before you close your eyes and let another night pass over the same hidden opening, come before me with the door uncovered. Sit with me. Speak to me. Do not polish the words. Do not explain around the wound. Do not wrap the cycle in softer language. Name it. Bring it into the light. Say what it is. Say, Father, this is the fear that keeps returning. This is the bitterness I keep feeding. This is the secret habit I keep hiding. This is the delay I keep protecting. This is the voice I keep answering. This is the door I have left open, and tonight I am bringing it to you. I am not asking you to fix your whole life before morning. I am not asking you to repair every broken place in one night. I am not asking you to understand every root, solve every weakness, or carry the full burden of transformation on your own shoulders. I am asking you to stop protecting the doorway of the old life. I am asking you to stop pretending the access point is harmless. I am asking you to stop hiding from me the very place where I am ready to meet you with mercy. My child, surrender does not begin when you feel strong. Surrender begins when you stop pretending you are not tired of the cycle. Come before me and say the pattern by name. If it is anger, say anger. If it is lust, say lust. If it is fear, say fear. If it is comparison, say comparison. If it is unforgiveness, say unforgiveness. If it is procrastination, say procrastination. If it is the old conversation, the old account, the old place, the old memory, the old wound, the old escape, then do not call it something else tonight. Do not hide it behind, I am just stressed. Do not hide it behind, this is how I cope. Do not hide it behind, they hurt me first. Do not hide it behind, I will deal with it later. Tonight, bring me the truth. because the power is not in perfect words. The power is in a heart that stops hiding. And after you name it, surrender the agreement beneath it. Say to me, Father, I have agreed with fear, but fear is not my master. I have agreed with shame, but shame is not my name. I have agreed with delay, but delay is not my destiny. I have agreed with bitterness, but bitterness is not my protection. I have agreed with the craving, the escape, the accusation, the old voice, but tonight I give that agreement back to you. I repent where I must repent. I forgive where I must forgive. I release what I have been holding as a weapon. I lay down what I have been using as a shelter. I stop defending what has been draining me. Beloved, do you know what happens when you speak honestly before me? The darkness loses the advantage of secrecy. The cycle loses the covering it has been hiding beneath. The old voice begins to tremble because it knows that what is confessed before me can no longer remain enthroned in silence. I do not turn away from the child who comes with trembling hands. I do not despise the prayer that breaks in the middle. I do not reject the one who says, Father, I do not know how to be free, but I know I cannot keep living open to this. That prayer is not small to me. That kind of honesty moves in the unseen place. That kind of surrender breaks agreements that strength alone could not break. But my child, I am also asking for one practical act of closure tonight. Not someday, not when the feeling passes, not when you feel brave enough to make it beautiful. Tonight, remove one access point. Delete what keeps pulling you back. Move away from the trigger. End the conversation that keeps reopening the wound. Put down the distraction that has been stealing the quiet where my voice should meet you. Block the path if you must. Turn off what keeps feeding your appetite. Write the message of obedience you have delayed. Make the decision you already know I have been asking from you. Forgive the person you keep using as a reason to stay chained, even if forgiveness begins as a whispered surrender and not an emotion you can feel yet. Do not make this mystical when I have made it clear. If the door is a number, remove it. If the door is an account, close it. If the door is a conversation, end it. If the door is a hidden object, move it. If the door is pride, confess it. If the door is resentment, release it into my hands. If the door is delay, take the first obedient step before sleep. Not because the action alone saves you, not because a deleted thing has power by itself, not because one night of discipline earns your freedom, but because surrender becomes real when it touches the place where the cycle has had access. Obedience gives shape to the yes your heart is offering me. Now say this with me, my child, not as empty sound, but as covenant from the hidden place. Father, before tomorrow arrives, I close the door to what has been repeating, and I return to you with my whole heart. Say it slowly, say it honestly. Father, before tomorrow arrives, I close the door to what has been repeating, and I return to you with my whole heart. Let the words pass through the place that has been afraid. Let them reach the tired part of you, the ashamed part of you, the divided part of you, the part that wonders if this time can truly be different. I am there, even there. I am not waiting for the perfect version of you. I am receiving the returning one. And when you close the door, I will begin restoring what the cycle kept stealing. I will restore breath where pressure has sat on your chest. I will restore clarity where confusion has circled your mind. I will restore peace where accusation has made your heart restless. I will restore strength where secret compromise drained your spirit little by little. You may not feel everything change in one instant, but do not measure the power of obedience only by the emotion of the moment. In the unseen place, a latch is moving, an agreement is breaking, a path is closing, a new morning is being prepared. My child, tonight is not about performance. It is about return. It is not about proving that you will never feel weakness again. It is about deciding that weakness will no longer send you through the same open door. Come to me honestly. Close what I have shown you practically. Give me the agreement completely. And before tomorrow arrives, let the old cycle hear something it has not heard from you in a long time. I belong to the Father, and this door is closed. My child, when you return, I will take care of the rest. I did not uncover the cycle to leave you standing in shame. I did not bring your hidden door into the light so you would collapse under accusation. I did not speak with urgency because I was finished with you. I spoke because you are mine, and what has been draining you cannot be allowed to keep feeding from your peace while I remain silent. A father warns before the fall becomes deeper. A shepherd calls before the sheep wanders farther. A healer touches the wound, not to increase the pain, but to draw out what has been poisoning the blood. So breathe now, beloved. Let the breath come back slowly. Let your spirit remember that I am not standing over you with a stone in my hand. I am standing before you with mercy. I am not waiting for you to carry the whole weight of change by yourself. I am not asking your tired heart to become its own deliverer. I am asking you to return, and as you return, grace begins to meet you on the road. The fog that has sat over your mind will not always remain. The heaviness that is pressed against your chest will not always speak so loudly. The restless pacing inside your thoughts will begin to quiet, not because every circumstance changes before morning, but because I enter the place you finally stop hiding. Do you feel how different my voice is from the voice of shame? Shame says, you should have known better, so stay away. I say, you are weary, so come near. Shame says, you failed again, so do not pray. I say, you fell again, so let me lift you. Shame says, this cycle is who you are. I say, this cycle is what I am breaking. Shame says, hide until you are stronger. I say, return while you are weak, because my strength is not offended by your trembling. My child, your exhaustion is not proof that I have rejected you. It is a signal that you were never meant to fight this cycle alone. You have been trying to hold the door closed with tired hands. You have been trying to guard your thoughts with a soul that has not rested. You have been trying to heal wounds while still listening to the voice that opened them. You have been trying to build a new life while secretly dragging the old agreement behind you, and I have seen the effort. I have seen the tears you wiped quickly. I have seen the prayers that came out as sighs. I have seen the nights when you wanted to change but did not know where strength would come from. I have seen the way you judged yourself for being tired when what you needed was refuge. Come into my refuge now. Come without pretending. Come without arranging your face into strength. Come without hiding the parts that still feel uncertain. I know how to sweep the inner room clean. I know how to remove the dust of old thoughts, the ashes of old failures, the residue of words spoken over you, the stains left by secret battles, the webs of fear that gathered in corners you stopped visiting with me. I know how to open the window of your spirit again and let my light enter. I know how to fill the lamp with oil again, drop by drop, until the flame that flickered beneath pressure begins to burn steady. Not peace because everything changes overnight, but peace because you are no longer alone in the room. Not peace because the enemy never knocks again, but peace because you know the door does not belong to him. Not peace because your emotions obey instantly, but peace because my hand is now resting on the place where your emotions have been wounded. Not peace because you have perfected yourself, but peace because you have returned to the one who completes what he begins. My precious one, this is the part the old cycle never wanted you to understand. It wanted you to believe that freedom depended entirely on your own force, your own discipline, your own ability to never feel pain, never feel hunger, never feel loneliness, never feel fear. But I do not build freedom on the pride of human strength. I build it on surrender joined to grace. You close the door I have shown you. I strengthen the hands that must keep walking. You tell me the truth. I bring healing into the truth. You take the first obedient step. I supply light for the next one. You return. You restore. And do not despise the smallness of tonight. Do not look at one deleted access, one honest prayer, one surrendered bitterness, one quiet no, one simple yes, and say it is not enough to matter. My child, the first stone of an altar is small until the altar stands. The first morning of a new rhythm feels fragile until obedience becomes familiar. The first response that agrees with me instead of the old pattern may feel like a whisper, but heaven hears it as a turning. Tonight's small obedience can become the first stone in a new altar. It can become the beginning of a rhythm where you come to me before the craving speaks, where you pause before anger answers, where you pray before fear writes the story, where you surrender before the old door calls your name. I will teach you the new path as you walk it. I will show you how to wake differently. I will remind you how to speak differently. I will help you recognize the first movement of the old cycle before it grows into a storm. I will give you discernment where you once only had reaction. I will give you quiet where you once had noise. I will give you strength where you once had secret defeat. And when you stumble, you will not run back into hiding as before. You will return quicker. You will confess sooner. You will close the door faster. You will learn that my mercy is not a permission to remain chained, but power to rise and walk free. So rest in this, my child. The weight of transformation is not yours to carry alone. The burden of becoming new does not rest on your shoulders without my hands beneath it. I ask for return, and then I supply grace for the new path. I ask for honesty, and then I pour oil into the lamp. I ask for obedience, and then I breathe strength into your spirit. I ask you to close the door, and then I stand with you in the house, filling the rooms with my peace. Before tomorrow arrives, know this deeply. You are not merely trying again, you are returning, and when you return to me, I will take care of the rest. My child, tomorrow must hear a different voice from you. When morning comes, do not let fear be the first one to speak. Do not let delay rise from the bed before your spirit rises in me. Do not let shame place its hand on your chest before my mercy has reminded you who you are. Do not let appetite, anger, comparison, worry, or the old memory stand at the doorway of a new day and decide the direction of your heart. The door you close tonight must be guarded tomorrow by the words you agree with first. Before you check the messages, speak to me. Before you reach for the screen, reach for my presence. Before your mind returns to the unpaid bill, the unanswered question, the painful conversation, the thing they said, the thing you fear, the thing you want, the thing you lost, let your soul say, Father, I belong to you today. Before worry begins, building its tower in your thoughts, let prayer become the first stone of the morning. Before the old cycle can whisper, nothing has changed, answer with the truth. I have returned to the Father, and this day will not be handed over to yesterday. Do you see, beloved? A new pattern does not always begin with a loud victory. Sometimes it begins with a quiet first response, one prayer before panic, one pause before reaction, one truth before the familiar lie, one surrendered breath before the old craving begins to demand an answer, one moment where you say, I will not agree with fear before I agree with God. That moment may look small, but it becomes a gate in the spirit. It teaches your heart that tomorrow does not belong to the thing that wounded you. Tomorrow does not belong to the habit that drained you. Tomorrow does not belong to the shame that tried to name you. Tomorrow belongs to me, and you are my child, learning to guard it with me. I do not say this to make you anxious about the morning. I say it because I know how cycles try to return. The temptation may knock, the memory may rise. The feeling may come back suddenly, like a shadow passing over the window. The old thought may appear before you have even fully opened your eyes. The familiar heaviness may try to sit beside you. The old escape may call your name with the same voice it used before. But listen to me, my child. A knock is not a command. A memory is not a master. A feeling is not a prophecy. A temptation is not an order. You may hear it, but you do not have to open. You may feel it, but you do not have to follow. You may remember it, but you do not have to return. This is how consistency begins. Not by pretending the battle is gone, not by acting as though you will never feel pressure again, not by measuring your freedom, only by whether the old voice becomes silent. Consistency begins when the old voice speaks and you answer differently. It begins when anger rises and you pause. It begins when fear tightens and you pray. It begins when shame accuses and you say, I am covered by mercy. It begins when delay whispers, later, and you take the first obedient step now. It begins when appetite demands comfort and you bring your hunger to me instead of to the door that kept you chained. My precious one, you are not a prisoner of yesterday. You are not the sum of every time you fell into the same pattern. You are not the name of your weakness. You are not the door you left open. You are not the habit that embarrassed you, the wound that hardened you, the fear that trained you, or the lie that followed you through seasons. You are my child, and I am training you to guard tomorrow. I am teaching your ears to recognize my voice before the voice of the old cycle. I am teaching your hands to close what once stayed open. I am teaching your feet to turn toward prayer before they walk toward escape. I am teaching your mouth to declare truth before it repeats defeat. So when tomorrow comes, do not wait until the old pattern has already wrapped itself around your thoughts. Meet me early in the hidden place. Say, Father, this day is yours. My mind is yours. My body is yours. My emotions are yours. My words are yours. My decisions are yours. The door I closed remains closed by your grace. The agreement I broke remains broken by your power. The path I left behind will not lead me today. Guide me before I answer. Steady me before I react. Fill me before I reach for what drains me. Let this be your first agreement. Let heaven hear your voice before the old cycle hears your attention. And if the day becomes difficult, return again. If the first hour is heavy, return again. If the memory presses, return again. If the feeling rises, return again. Do not say, I have failed because I had to pray more than once. Do not say, nothing changed because I had to resist again. My child, resistance is not failure. Returning is not failure. Pausing is not weakness. Every time you turn toward me instead of opening the old door, you are strengthening the new path. Every time you choose truth over the lie, prayer over panic, obedience over delay, surrender over appetite, you are teaching tomorrow what voice it must obey. The new cycle begins when tomorrow hears you agree with me before you agree with the old pattern. It begins when the morning hears your yes before fear offers its script. It begins when your room hears prayer before your mind rehearses pain. It begins when your heart hears mercy before shame can accuse. And I will be there in the first breath, in the first choice, in the first refusal, in the first step. You will not guard tomorrow without me. I am the one beside you at the door. I am the strength in your small no. I am the peace in your quiet yes. I am the father who teaches his child to walk free, one morning at a time. My child, when I break the cycle in you, I am not only changing the way you wake up, I am changing the air around you. I am touching the atmosphere of your home. The words that will be spoken at your table, the silence that will no longer be filled with fear, the children who will not have to inherit the same heaviness without a witness of freedom standing before them. Do you see how far one closed door can reach? Do you see how one act of surrender can become mercy for more than your own heart? The old cycle wanted you to believe this battle was only about you, only about your weakness, only about your private struggle, only about another night of shame. But I tell you, beloved, when I bring freedom to one heart, I begin to make room for families, friendships, homes, and future generations to breathe differently. The peace I am restoring in you will not remain hidden forever. The strength I am building in your small refusals will become shelter for someone who does not yet know how to refuse. The prayer you whisper tonight will become language for someone who has forgotten how to pray. The door you close before tomorrow may become the courage another soul needs to close theirs. I do not waste the place where you were wounded. I do not discard the tears you cried in secret. I do not ignore the nights when you fought thoughts no one else could hear. I take even that place, even that pain, even that memory, and I pour my oil there until the wound that once made you hide becomes the place where you recognize the pain of another with tenderness and authority. That is why your testimony will carry oil, not oil from performance, not oil from pretending you were never broken, not oil from speaking as though you never trembled, but oil from the place where my mercy met you while you were still weak. You will know how to pray for the one who keeps returning to the same door, because you will remember how that pull felt. You will know how to speak gently to the one covered in shame, because you will remember how shame tried to silence you. You will know how to warn without crushing, how to comfort without excusing, how to stand beside someone without agreeing with the chain that holds them. My child, the place where the enemy tried to bury your voice is the place where I am teaching you to speak life. You are not only someone being healed, you are becoming a lamp, you are becoming a bridge, you are becoming an intercessor. You are becoming a voice of awakening in rooms where people have learned to call bondage normal. You are becoming one who can say, there is another way to answer the morning. There is another way to handle the craving. There is another way to face the memory. There is another way to stand at the door and say, no, by the grace of God. You will not speak from pride. You will speak from mercy. You will not point at wounds to expose people. You will carry light so they can find the way back to me. And because of this, do not keep this word only to yourself. Share it with the one who keeps waking up inside the same battle. Share it with the one who smiles in public but feels the old pattern tightening in private. Share it with the one who keeps saying, tomorrow will be different, while leaving the same small opening unguarded tonight, not as noise, not as pressure, not as a casual thing. Share it as rescue. Share it as a lamp placed near a dark doorway. The right word tonight may help someone close a door before tomorrow arrives. The right prayer may interrupt a cycle that has been moving through a family line for years. The right reminder may reach someone at the exact moment when they were about to open what I am calling them to shut. My precious one, I am making your freedom fruitful. I am turning your return into witness. I am turning your obedience into shelter. I am turning your closed door into a sign that the old pattern does not get the final word. So now, come closer. This is the moment to place the cycle before me. Place the door before me. Place the habit before me. Place the fear before me. Place the family line before me. Place the home, the children, the marriage, the friendship, the future, the hidden room of the heart before me. What I break in you, I can stop from traveling through you. What I heal in you, I can use to bring healing through you. And before tomorrow arrives, I will teach you not only to walk free, but to become a witness of freedom for someone else. My child, before tomorrow arrives, bring it all into my hands. Do not hold back the part you are most ashamed to name. Do not hide the place where the cycle has been strongest. Do not stand at the edge of prayer pretending you have nothing to surrender. Come close now, and let your heart speak plainly before me. Say, Father, I bring you the cycle I have hidden, excused, repeated, and feared. I bring you the pattern I said I would stop, the door I kept leaving open, the agreement I kept making in secret, the weakness I tried to manage without you. I do not cover it anymore. I do not rename it anymore. I do not protect it anymore. I bring it into your light, and I ask you to meet me here. Say to me, Father, forgive me for every place where I agreed with what was draining me. Forgive me for every time I called compromise, comfort, every time I called delay wisdom, every time I called bitterness protection, every time I called fear discernment, every time I opened the door again after you warned my spirit. Wash me with mercy. Cleanse the hidden room of my heart. Remove the weight of secret shame. Remove the accusation that tells me I am too far gone. Remove the lie that says this cycle is my identity. I receive your forgiveness. I receive your mercy. I receive your hand, lifting my face again. My precious one, pray this slowly. Let every word pass through the place where shame has been sitting. Father, I release the shame that kept me hiding. I release the fear that kept me silent. I release the pride that kept me pretending. I release the old agreement that made me return to what wounded me. I forgive where I have been holding pain as a weapon. I forgive the one I have used as a reason to stay chained. I forgive, not because what happened was small, but because I belong to you. And I will not let the wound become a doorway for another season. Teach my heart how to release what my hands have held too tightly. Teach me how to obey even while healing is still unfolding. And now ask me for strength in the practical place, because surrender must touch the door. Say, Father, give me strength tonight to remove the trigger, delete the access, end the conversation, move away from the place, close the account, put down the habit, and obey the instruction you have already placed in my spirit. Give me courage to do what I have delayed. Give me honesty when my flesh tries to negotiate. Give me steadiness when the old pull tries to sound reasonable. Let my obedience be simple, clean, and real. I will not wait for perfect feelings. I will not wait for a more convenient night. Before tomorrow arrives, I choose you at the door. I declare over you now, beloved, that your night is covered, your mind is covered, your room is covered, your home is covered, your emotions are covered, your body is covered, your decisions are covered, your relationships are covered. Your tomorrow morning is covered by my mercy and my authority. No restless thought will own your night. No accusation will sit beside your bed as ruler. No old voice will have permission to write the first sentence of your morning. I place peace over your breathing. I place light over your thoughts. I place a guard over your eyes, your ears, your mouth, your hands, your steps, and your hidden desires. And when the old pattern knocks again, you will recognize it. You will not confuse the knock with my voice. You will not confuse pressure with destiny. You will not confuse craving with need. You will not confuse memory with command. I give you discernment to see the first shadow before it becomes a storm. I give you wisdom to pause before you answer. I give you strength to call on me before you open. I give you courage to say no while your heart is still learning how to stand. You are not alone at the door. I am with you there. I am the shield around you. I am the strength within you. I am the Father who does not abandon his returning child. So declare this now with faith, even if your voice trembles. The old cycle loses its agreement tonight. The small door is closed tonight. The hidden opening is surrendered tonight. The shame that kept me silent is broken tonight. The pattern that followed me into yesterday will not rule tomorrow. I belong to God. My mind belongs to God. My body belongs to God. My home belongs to God. My future belongs to God. Tomorrow will not begin under yesterday's chain. Tomorrow will hear my agreement with the Father before it hears the voice of the old cycle. In the name of Jesus, I seal this surrender. In the name of Jesus, I close the door that should not remain open. In the name of Jesus, I receive mercy for what is behind me and grace for what is before me. Let peace enter this night. Let strength meet me in the morning. Let obedience become my new path. Amen. My child, I have seen your surrender. I have heard the words you could barely form. I have received the prayer beneath the prayer. Rest now in this assurance. I will meet you in the next step. I will not leave you to guard the morning alone. The door is closed, and my hand is with you. If this is your declaration tonight, write in the comments, "The old cycle is broken tonight." Leave your prayer request below if you need agreement, and I will see every heart that is reaching for freedom. Like this video as a sign of faith that you are receiving this word. Subscribe so these messages of restoration can continue meeting you in the days ahead. And share this with someone who needs freedom before tomorrow arrives.